Hello, 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 and welcome back to This Is Me, but it's all about you. The podcast where we can talk freely, where we look at your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, everything that we as human beings go through. And it's just to open your mind, to let you inside and to connect with you and have this conversation on a weekly basis, guys. So I am Tina, and it's always, I just want to thank you for spending time with me today, and taking time out to listen, maybe taking time out to watch, whether you're driving or you're walking or you're making a coffee or having a glass of wine or just simply just taking a few moments for yourself. I'm really pleased that you're here. So today's episode starts with a simple question. Okay. How many decisions have you already made today? All right. So such as thing as, you chose what time to get up, you chose what to wear for your day. Maybe if you're like me, you changed what you wore a couple of times. Maybe you chose what to eat for your breakfast, or it could have been that you pressed snooze on your phone when you woke up, or whether it was to smile and say good morning to somebody, whether you chose to listen to this podcast. Can you see where I'm going with this? Our life is made up of decisions, decisions, decisions. Some are tiny, some are life-changing, absolutely life-changing, but every single one of them, guys, moves us in a direction. All right, I really want you to let that land with you. Every single decision we make in our life moves us to some sort of direction. And that's what I want to explore with you today. Okay? Because I personally don't believe that our lives change overnight. I believe our lives change with one decision at a time. And that power of one decision is completely life-changing, which is what I've just said, because people often look at somebody's life and they say, you know, um, they may think, oh my God, they were lucky. Have you ever said that about somebody's life? God, they were lucky to land that. God, they were lucky to do that. Or well, they had opportunities. Or maybe you're saying, they were in the right place at the right time. But you see, what we don't see, all right, is that it took hundreds of small decisions that got them there. It may have been decisions to keep going, maybe they were on a project, maybe they had some ideas, but they kept going. The decision to learn, which is a big one. The decision to absolutely say yes to themselves, which is huge. And there's that other decision that it is the hardest one of all, to pick yourself up and try again after failing, because here's the thing, and I want you to think about this as well. Success is rarely one giant leap. It's usually thousands and thousands of tiny steps. You look at all the famous people in this world. They were just like you, they were just like me. But they made a decision that they wanted something more in their lives. They knew what direction they were going to go, and they took all those decisions to get there. Did they fail? Yeah, absolutely. They probably fall flat on their faces hundreds and thousands of times. But they kept going. They kept going. And here's the thing, when I left corporate life, people saw that decision. Oh boy, did I get criticized for it. You know, they they saw that decision that I just literally quit corporate life. They called me crazy. They dissed me. They talked about me behind my back, but I soon began to realize that what they thought of me was none of my business. Um, and the thing is, what they didn't see, right, was that every decision I had made that came before me quitting corporate life, I decided that I wanted more in my life. I decided that I didn't want to feel ill and burnt out anymore. and full of that stress of corporate life, I decided to watch a webinar that I saw online. I decided to stay curious about that webinar that showed me how life could be so different just by starting an online business. I decided to believe that that absolutely could be another way for me. And I decided to invest in myself. And when I did, I also decided to keep showing up even when I fell flat on my face, even when I doubted myself, even when the chips were down and I thought I wasn't good enough. And you know, looking back, leaving my job was the best feeling ever because of the success in my online business. It made me feel as if I was back in control of my own life. But leaving my job and quitting corporate life because I'd become successful in my business wasn't just that one decision. It was the result of hundreds of brave little decisions along the way. And the biggest decision was to actually not listening to what other people thought of me, to not listening to naysayers or close friends or family putting me off. I just did it. And maybe that's true for you too, you know, because it is like what we say, a domino effect. All right. And have you ever lined up dominoes? For those of you who remember what dominoes were, I'm showing my age now, you know. I don't even know if there's still dominoes around, but have you ever lined up dominoes? One tiny little push and suddenly everything begins to move. Can you visualize that? You know, I can in my head. And life is exactly like a line of dominoes. That one conversation, that one book, that one online business success, that one podcast, that one opportunity, that one brave decision. And the thing is, you don't need to know where every domino will fall. You just simply need the courage to push that first one. All right. And here's the thing, I love this thought, and it is a quote. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. I'm going to repeat that. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. How often have we said, I'll start Monday, I'll start tomorrow, I'll start next week, I'll start next month, I'll start next year, I'll wait till January, you know? But that funny habit of I'll start tomorrow, next week, monthly, January, whatever, it becomes next week, next month, next year. But have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, today is enough? Maybe today is where your new story begins. And is it choice or is it chance? You know, some people ask me, they often say to me, God, weren't you lucky? And I smile because from the outside to all of who know me maybe, or all of you are listening, it may look like luck that I am here where I'm here, but it actually wasn't luck. It was a choice. It was a choice to learn. It was a choice to grow. It was a choice to keep going. You know, it was a choice to believe that there was another way for me. So luck is a great word and it will always open a door. But choice is the other word, and that decides whether we walk through that door or not, you know? And imagine another thing. Imagine standing by a river and the current is flowing in one direction. and you can drift wherever the water takes you. Or you can choose to swim towards the life you really want. And it won't always be easy. And sometimes you'll get tired. You know, you'll get so tired swimming. And sometimes you'll wonder if it's worth it. But every stroke you make takes you closer. The easiest thing is to drift. The easiest thing is to drift through life that gets you nowhere. The most rewarding thing is to be able to choose your direction. So, can I ask you something, guys? You know, what decision have you been avoiding? Maybe not because you don't know the answer. Maybe it's because you're frightened of what comes next. You know, maybe it's that decision you've been putting off for applying for that job or saying yes to an amazing opportunity. Maybe it's that decision you've been putting off writing your first book or believing in yourself. You know, whatever it is, remember this: not making a decision is still making a decision. You're deciding to stay exactly where you are. That's a decision. That's a decision you'll probably have to stay with for the rest of your life. But you deciding to choose something different, that's a decision where you're choosing a direction in your life that you want to go. It's the domino effect. You've just pushed the first domino. And here's something, you know, I remind myself so often that small decisions repeated consistently create extraordinary lives. Do you want to create an extraordinary life? So don't ever underestimate that tiny step that you do every single day, because that could be the beginning of everything for you. Okay? So today's Tina thought for you, before I leave you today, all right, is that every decision you make is a vote. It's a vote for the person you're becoming. So tomorrow, when life asks you to choose the version of yourself that you'll be proud to become. And that's the thought for you today. You know, so thank you for joining me today, wherever you are in the world, you know. And if this conversation encouraged you, I'd love you to share it. Share it with someone who needs reminding that their future isn't decided by chance. You know, it's shaped by the choices they make every single day. So if you're enjoying this podcast, guys, please follow, subscribe, leave a review for me, because every review helps these conversations reach somebody who needs it. And remember, you don't have to change your life today. You only have to make one good decision. Just one good decision. Then another. And then another. And then create that domino effect, because one day you'll look back and you'll realize that all those little decisions you made created that life you once only dreamed about. So until next time, take care of yourself. Keep believing in what's possible. I'm Tina, and this is me, but it's all about you. Take care, everybody. See you all soon.